This is Tea Time with J and J. Look for it wherever podcasts are available. Your favorite podcasts are available. You will find us there. Today's guest is a musical shapeshifter, a soul whisperer, and a synth sorceress. You might know her today as Feral Kitty, or maybe you're not so old schooler that played a role in a Hudson K music video. But at her core, she is Christina Horn, a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist whose work bends genres and breaks emotional barriers. Based right here in East Tennessee, Christina is known for pairing lush cinematic soundscapes with lyrics that cut to the bone and heal while they're at it. Her new single, Breathe In, dives into the raw and real experience of living with imposter syndrome. It's a song that doesn't shy away from discomfort. It meets it head-on and transforms it into something graceful. We'll be talking about her music, her relationship with mental health, and what it really means to find your voice when the world and your own mind get loud. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tea Time with J and J. Welcome, Christina Horn.
Hi, JJ. It's great to see you.
It's great to see
we
you.
have a history.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And Jocelyn, how you doing?
Oh, I'm so tired.
Are you?
I am so tired.
It's
We
Sunday
definitely
morning.
needed this coffee.
So did I. I was up late. Uploading the last week's episode of Tea Time, and our guest was Megan Lilly. And so that is available on Spotify and Amazon podcasts and all the places. But I was so excited. I think I was more nervous than anything. I didn't get much sleep because Christina Horn is just, you're a huge fan. I'm a huge fan.
You're a huge fan of
You're
yourself.
a huge fan of me, right? I'm a huge fan. I always have been. I love you to pieces. And I think I'm always excited every time you release music, but there's so much about you that's on the other side of music that you do and that you're interested in and that you talk about and think about and ponder about. And I'm just always in awe of, man, this woman is just so multifaceted and so talented and just awesome.
You're so sweet, and you're making me out the feels. And I'm like, I wasn't gonna break any emotional boundaries today, but you just did.
Great. I've done my job. It's been about a year since we interviewed. We last saw each other in a radio setting like this. And talk about what you've been doing this past year.
Yeah, I dug in. I guess after the pandemic, I was just like, okay, well, life kind of ended for musicians. It was so much sorrow in missing out on that live performance, which is really like church for us. And my soul was dying. And so I dug in really, really deep on music production, which is, for those that don't know, like the engineering side of learning how to record and learning how to mix. Things that I'd always known how to do and I've been doing, but felt like I always had to pay somebody else to do. And historically, because of the way the statistics are, that's usually a man, right? So still less than 3% of music producers and engineers are female. So that means you're stepping into a space that's always going to be male dominated. And I think I had gotten so frustrated with that in my own experience where it's very difficult to feel comfortable. It's like, am I going to be harassed? Am I safe? Can I say what I want to say? Can I ask for what I want to ask for? And I had to work through all this sort of, I don't want to say trauma, but it was in some regards. And like to really take things into my own hands and say like, hey, if this guy can do it, I can do it too. And it can be just as good. Because I think I realized I'd been fighting with that. And like this battle had been raging inside of me, which was just like, God, I'm so unhappy. I can't like get what I want. Musically, I can't get this recorded the way that I want it to sound. And I ended up spending all this money on these dudes. And, I had one really bad experience where the guy actually withheld the producer quote. Withheld my masters when I refused to sleep with him. I don't know. Like that kind of thing. It was like, oh, God, I can't do this anymore. And I really thought that I was just going to retire because I was so tired of fighting the battle. So I just dug in and I locked myself in. I built a studio back in 2016 and because I think I'd always had that dream, but I was always scared. Just like, it's like if you read a book or you have a podcast, it's like terrifying to like release your own work out into the world. So I dug in and I stopped going out. I stopped talking to, I kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, but I was spending like 16 hours a day, like, just grinding. And so when we met about a year ago, I was kind of like halfway through that process of like hashing out these songs and you invited me to come on the radio. And I think I even played the song Breathe In. I think it was called something else because it was still in process. But I was going through it, and I finally was like, I got to finish this and work through. There's a whole like working through of like the mental health piece of that, right? Because when you finally do release the thing into the world, that's like that cathartic moment where you're like, I did it. Oh my god, everybody's gonna hate it. It sucks. Oh my god, just waiting for the critical thing to happen, right?
And I've been thinking about that concept that musicians get scared. Musicians are fearful of releasing their music and what folks are going to think about it. Because for the average person, Jocelyn and I think musicians are going to save us, right? Musicians are the ones that are speaking up and in their lyrics and music, talking about what we want to say, but we're too scared to say it. So thank God for musicians. Thank God for singer-songwriters. Thank God for somebody that's going to stand up on a stage and belt out what we're all feeling and bring us together through music and so on and so forth. So it's sort of like we're looking to you as a leader, right? Mm-hmm. And then to find out that the leader is also dealing with their own emotional sort of things and their own, am I good enough? Is this good enough? Is anybody going to listen? Is sort of, I don't know. It kind of gives me chill bumps thinking about it.
I'm so glad you said that because I actually wasn't even thinking about that part of it. So for this, it's like twofold. It's like, oh, as a songwriter and as a musician, you can have imposter syndrome and think that people are judging you. But this time around, I recorded all the instruments and played most of them. And then I had, Jason Thompson is joining me for this project. I'd never recorded a saxophone before. Not only am I doing that, but I'm also mixing the damn thing. And I was like, oh, people are going to judge this. They're going to be like, oh, the low end's shit. Or, oh, this is a busy mix. Or it's muddy or whatever. It's harsh. And I was like, oh, they're going to judge me as an engineer too. So I was so hyper-focused on that piece of it that it was like a dichotomy of imposter syndrome.
Yes. It's new concepts. And then I think along the way too, when you have other folks you had Jason and that was awesome. But when you have a bigger team of folks mixing and mastering and so on, you're getting feedback about your music at that point. You're, this is great. Oh, what if we do this? Oh, what if we expand it this way or whatever? And so you're not even getting feedback. The only feedback is your own feedback.
In my brain.
And so if you're in your brain and you're being negative, then it's just, it's
a feedback loop of insanity. Yeah. And I think the thing that has helped a lot through all of this is in the last couple of years, I got into Buddhism and into meditating, which is kind of what inspired this song. Like breathe in, breathe out. It's like, okay, I have all this like anxiety and I don't know what this person's going to do and I can't control their reaction. And you could apply this to dating, right? Like, I don't know what this guy's going to do and he might totally dump me tomorrow or girl or whatever. But all I can do is like focus on myself and breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. It's going to be fine. It doesn't really matter. So it's just that reminder of like to zoom out and look at the big picture. And like I had to sing that shit to myself to like remember none of this really matters in the big scheme, right? It's like you zoom out and you see the planet and then you zoom out and you see the solar system and then you zoom out and you see the cosmos and you're like, I don't even know if I can zoom out anymore. And then you remember that it's all horseshit. So it's fine.
My mantra lately has been progress over perfection.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, I have to beat myself in the head with it. And I think for the podcast, I talked about the episode a couple weeks ago, how I named the podcast Tea Time, Time, 3 years ago, in like 2023, when I first decided I was going to do this podcast. It was going to be called
Somebody
Tea Time
else had
with
it.
JJ or whatever. And it was all fine. Yeah. And I put
Somebody
it up.
else had
but
it.
by the time that I got my dang tail around to actually uploading the podcast, doing the thing, there are 14 other Tea Time podcast. Boy, hellfire.
Do you know, this is the other thing about podcasts is like crazy. Do you know like what the statistic is about how many podcasts actually never, like people will make 2 or 3 episodes or a season and then they just disappear. They get the fuck out. It's gone,
Right. Yeah. Tell me.
Most of them. It's over 90%. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like you get super excited about the thing and then you get into the nitpickiness of it. And I'm a perfectionist, y'all, and I get it 100%. I was not going to release this song because I was like, it's garbage. It's hot trash. And I was like, no, Christina, no, it's not garbage. You're just a perfectionist and it can always be better, right? Like everything can always be better.
Right. But don't let that keep you from just starting. So that has been my thing. And my husband is a driving force of this too. I mean, he will get on me. Have you uploaded the podcast today? Have you been working on the podcast?
I haven't
have you
met
uploaded
your
the
husband,
podcast?
but I love him.
He is wonderful. I mean,
I need a hubby or a wife that'll do that for me.
I struck Pater when I found him. And so, so he bought me all this equipment for my podcast studio and so on. And then I didn't do anything with it. And so, I thought it's so supportive. And I thought I can't let that support go to waste.
Yeah.
I can't let him. I want future presence from
it's
him.
Interesting,
you know
how
what I mean?
One
so I
person
need
that
to
can you really motivate. It's like the whole world hates me, but this one person is motivating me and validating me right now. And honestly, I give Jason Thompson some credit for that, because he reached out. We did this thing for Big Ears last year, and it was an improv thing. I'd never played with him before or really ever met him in person, or talked to him. And he showed up with his saxophone and we improvised. We didn't even talk. He was standing across the room, leaning on the wall with his baritone sax. Well, Matt Hunkin and I were on stage playing, and he just started playing with us. And I was like, oh my God. And then a year later, he was like, hey, why aren't we playing more music together? And I was like, that sounds like a good idea. And that's how that, wow. I know it's super simple, right? But he was like, oh my God, these songs are really good. Your arrangements are excellent and the mix is great. And I was like, oh, you think so? Say more. And this one person who I held up on a pedestal, it just took him saying that to me to be like, oh yeah, these aren't so bad. I can release this. That gave me isn't that funny? One person gives me the confidence that the whole world, my family, my friends, couldn't give me.
Yes.
Myself, I couldn't give myself.
And shout out to Jason Thompson. Now that Jason Thompson, Frog and Toad's Dixie Quartet. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like I interviewed them at WUTK years ago. Yeah. For quite a while.
He plays with a lot of groups now. He's playing with the Dirty Govs.
Okay.
Eric Baker, who I also used to play with back in the day.
That's awesome.
There's a few other, but he's all over town all the time. So he's playing with Mel Nombre now. I would take credit for that, because I told Ben Maney how great he was to improvise with, and then the next day Ben Maney.
I love Ben Maney.
I do too. I do too. They're playing this Tuesday at the Pilot Light, so you can go check it out.
We need to go check it out.
But yeah, he's a very, very dynamic and soulful musician, and it's nice to have that element when you're. I've been in my head for let's be honest, playing with the bleeps and bloops for so long. It's oh my God, the saxophone. It's you can hear the person breathing through the instrument, and it does softs and louds. It's amazing.
So this is your third release as Feral Kitty.
Song, yes, it's third single. Yeah, so the music industry sucks. People don't release albums anymore; they just release singles.
And what I didn't realize, and because of your day job, you have a lot of background into and obviously as a musician, you have a lot of background into how it all works behind the curtain, the industry, the pay to plays, the number of plays you need before it becomes monetized, and all of that. And Spotify changed that all up.
Spotify is an interesting company, because they actually started out as an advertising company. They had a couple of dudes in Sweden that were like, let's make this product. There's a great book that Liz Pelly put out called, have you read it? The Mood Machine. It tells the whole story of Spotify and how it evolved. And it is just, top level, owned by the major labels, and there's 3 of them. So independent artists like me that have literally no team or representation really, really struggle to get heard or seen, because anybody can upload. I'm not going to go on this TED Talk thing here, but anybody can upload music, and Spotify's also populating. You've heard about this whole AI ban thing that's in the news right now. So the reason they do that is because, of course, they can control the world. They get to keep all the royalties, right? So we're heading into some really uncharted territories right now. You're starting to see some popular bands kind of pull their catalog from Spotify, which they can do, because if you're famous already, you can do whatever you want. If you're me, I need all the help I can get. So Spotify changed the rules 2023. I think it was, or 24, where it used to be we at least got paid, and it's pro rata, meaning Taylor Swift is going to get money from my stream, right? I'm not going to get money from her stream. It's all rigged. But now, as an independent artist, you have to hit a certain threshold of streams before they'll even start paying out royalties, and it's 1,000 streams, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're me, it's a lot. then they start paying out royalties, but you're still not getting paid the same amount, right? Because the major labels have those negotiated rates, and it is highly, highly unbalanced. And I don't have access to the same tools. I can't even use their marketing tools or Marquee or Discover Mode or any of that. So my music is going to be pushed to the very bottom. It's never going to get suggested to you. It's never going to show up on Release Radar or the radio, the artist radio feature, unless I throw tens of thousands of dollars at marketing, through ads that drive traffic off of other platforms like Instagram, TikTok, whatever. So this is why, I was having a conversation with somebody this week, and they're like, oh, talking about, you need a label. I know I'm going to introduce you to an independent label, but how many Instagram followers do you have?
Oh,
they don't
Lord.
care about the music. They only care about how many followers I have on TikTok and Instagram, which I don't have many because at Feral Kitty Music Official on Instagram.
There you go.
And they're like, they want to see what your engagement is with your followers, because that's how you're going to essentially push people to the other platform. Anyway, it's difficult. It really is. It is so highly rigged. And my heart goes out to the younger artists, because they don't know any different because they grew up with social media, right? Mm-hmm. When you and I were coming up in the local music scene, it was a big deal when MySpace launched.
Yes.
But we still didn't have Spotify. I remember Spotify was like this, it was not a household word in 2015 even.
That's right.
So it's not that far back that we're figuring this out. And artists used to make a lot of their money and their income from selling merch and from selling records on the road. Mm-hmm. People don't buy anything anymore. And then there was a trend in the late 2017 through 2020 where people were selling vinyl, and it was impossible to even get a vinyl company to press your play because there was a long line of everybody trying to make vinyl. And then that's not cool anymore. Then let's make tapes. That's a great idea. Anyway, needless to say, to monetize any of this is completely impossible, right? And so I'm throwing thousands. I have a good day job, and I'm throwing all of my disposable income at just making this music. It costs money to host it, right? I have to spend money to even get it on the platforms,
right?
I have to spend money to get people to listen to it. It's never gonna even out. Everybody's like, oh, you're gonna make royalties. No. If I make $2 off of this song after the year's out, it'll be amazing. It's not making any money.
I was telling Trip White from the Alternates, this was a couple months ago. They were on Locals Only, and I was telling them how I like to drive around when I'm driving around town, and several times a week I have to drive way out Lenore City. So it's a little trek, and I don't take the interstate. I have anxiety, panic attack sort of anxiety of driving on the interstate. So I take the back road. So it takes me an hour to get there. Anyhow, I listen to nothing but local artists all the time. Sometimes I'll put on a song and I'll just listen to it on repeat because I think, let me help these folks get to 1,000 plays, or let me, whatever the threshold is, I need to help these independent artists do that. And it's the same with podcasts. I mean,
it is. Yeah, and they have a rating system that you don't know about. It's the popularity index, and they take it's an algorithm, and it takes the number of playlists that you've been added to, and the number of saves, and the number of shares. That's actually more impactful than the streaming it over and over again. So if you were to add it to a playlist that has actual people listening to it, that can actually help. And if you are strategic about this, if you're a musician and you're like, okay, I'm going to put on my marketing and promotion hat, and I have a budget, and you spend a good chunk of time focusing on this every single day, you can move the needle a little bit, right? But the thing is, you might get to a place where you have 30,000 monthly listeners, but you look at the major label artists and how many monthly listeners do they have? Millions, right? And so the other piece of this too, from the industry perspective, is that talent buyers, festival promoters, these folks, that's the first place they go. They go to Spotify to go, okay, this artist, do we want to book them? Do we want to have them on our bill? Are they going to draw?
How many monthly listeners do they have?
Yeah,
how
especially if they're not, depending, even if they are represented by an indie label, it's okay, well, I don't know. And then even if you have a gajillion followers on TikTok and you have a song that went viral, can you sell tickets to a show? No, probably not. So there's, there's two sides to that coin for sure. Some of these artists have never even played a live show.
What do you think most people look for numbers wise when you're talking about followers or going onto Spotify's and seeing the saved playlist? What number do you think they typically want to see to be able to book you?
Oh, I mean, I would say it would depend on the festival for sure. Just, based on, is it an EDM festival? Is it like a Bonnaroo? If it's those sorts of festivals, the way that those contracts are negotiated is totally different anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's laughable if you look, it's like if you looked at Feral Kitty on Spotify, you won't see any numbers because you have to hit a certain threshold before they even like show the number.
Show the number. Right.
So,
Oh my gosh.
So like, I'm not even in the running. It's like, womp, womp, womp. But doesn't mean I'm not going to try. And I try to stay positive because I do think that, I look at like what Jason and I are doing. Like, it is very dynamic. If you come to one of our shows, we haven't played yet, but we're about to do Knox Brew Stories as our first.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah,
when is that? You said it's a few weeks away.
It's Monday, August 4th. And it's just, it's a 3-song deal and it's free and open to the public, but it's like, I think, I kind of fall into that electronic music world, but if you come see us, it's like you have a live saxophone player, you have a live keyboard player who's also, I'm playing a Roland SPDX, which is a drum machine, but with sticks. So I'm playing drums and piano at the same time. He's playing the saxophone and I'm singing. And it is not like if you go to an EDM festival, you'll see a lot of dudes with laptops.
Right.
Not that exciting, the dead mouses of the world that are like, I'm literally just standing up here with a freaking mouse helmet on and I have a $500,000 light show.
Right.
And I'm pressing play. And I'm making it look like I'm doing shit with my hands, but I'm not really actually doing anything. But we are. And there's the human element of it. And I think with, the way that AI is really making music, it's taking music production to this, it's crazy how good it's gotten already. And this sucks for composers, which is something I used to do for a day job, was write for TV. That world is going to be replaced, that background music world. But if you are an eclectic artist and you are writing songs in a different format, or you're doing it with different instrumentation and you're doing a live show that's quirky, energetic, weird, cannot be replaced by robots.
Yes.
I think that's like the future for us. And just embrace your freak flag and be as freaky as you can on stage and as authentically weird as you want to be with your music, because the algorithm, AI is dependent on the artists that have come before. So if we're not creating new stuff, then.
Well, and letting your freak flag fly is a theme that is quintessentially you. I feel like
Thank you. That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said.
Oh, you have every record that you have released, every music video you've done, every performance art. It's awesome. Like, you push the boundaries and you have crazy costumes and you push people's imaginations of, what to expect. You're not just up there with a guitar or a keyboard or whatever.
Right,
I mean, you are making it a show. You are making it a performance. And I think
in East
it's
Tennessee,
incredible. I
I will venture to say that I've been called avant-garde many times because it's like Americana is like pretty heavy here.
Right.
It's like, oh, you're doing some avant-garde shit. I'm like, not really.
Who do you listen to? Who are your musical go-tos at this point in your life?
Cute that you think I have time to listen to other people's music. I just listen to the same kick drum over and over again for 6 hours until I have it perfect. And then 8, million takes of saxophone on comping together for I don't have any ear space left. Done. You tell me, what should I be listening to?
That's hilarious. Well, and the other thing I wanted to talk about, go back to, as far as social media is concerned, and us back in the day with MySpace and so on. It's so
everyone's friend.
Yes. Well, it's hard as a musician, as a professional, especially if you have different pages. I'm always confused as to, okay, should I have a separate page for the real estate stuff? Should I have a separate page for this business? Should I have a separate page for this? And then before you know it, you've got 4 pages that you're trying to manage.
That's not manageable.
And then you're not managing any of them.
No.
Right?
And here's the thing, there's so much freaking noise out there anyway. And the way that I look at it is like, you are your own personal brand, and I do a lot of things in my life, right? I cannot manage all of those things. If you want to engage with me and have conversations or talk about music or whatever, I can only do that under one name. And right now it's Feral Kitty. Like that's, it's like it was Hudson K, and and that's easier to remember than Christina Horn. Like, so who cares? Also, we're all gonna die, so it doesn't really matter. Like, how do you want to spend your time?
That's actually a huge point.
That's just it. That's just it. You spend so much time managing your brand online that you're not even living an authentic life. No. I feel like that you're not taking the time to take joy in smelling the flowers. I have all these I have a huge container garden, 19 container roses and all sorts of things, and these huge pots on the side of my house. And I love walking up and down, multiple times a day and just smelling the flowers and looking at them and talking to them.
I saw, speaking of social media, I did see a pretty hilarious video about like the quintessential like middle-age activity is like getting up in the morning and drinking your coffee and just looking at your plants. Yes. It's like, oh my God, it's me.
While listening to gangster rap.
Listening to gangster rap.
That was a meme or something I sent Jocelyn. This guy, and he's in his garden with his coffee or whatever in the morning and checking out his plants and then listening to like Snoop Dogg. I'm like, yes, that's me.
Ice Cube.
Yeah,
that's me.
I think we have to just get back to what do the kids say about touching grass?
Right.
Gotta touch some grass, my man.
Right.
I really like the point that you made though, that we're all gonna die anyways. No one's gonna remember me.
Yeah. And I think it's somebody else, I think it was Matt Honkinen, who I've done a lot of musical work with too. I think he was like, I was like, Matt, this isn't perfect. I need to fix it. He was like, Christina, nobody's checking.
Yeah.
That it's perfect. He meant like nobody's like checking to make sure that you did it perfect. And like also nobody really cares as much as you do is kind of what I heard. And I think that's also really important which is something we also learn in studying Dharma and Buddhism. It's like, okay, we are all so self-cherishing, which is the root of all of our suffering, right? Because when you're thinking about, okay, this is so important to me, really nobody else cares about it as much as you do. Right. And this can be true for like your appearance or your weight or your job or whatever it is that is troubling you. Nobody's thinking about it but you, which means inherently it doesn't exist. It is all in your mind. Right. And I think that has helped me tremendously to like work through all of this, is to realize that it is all in my head. It is not real. and it is based on like me cherishing myself and my identity. Right. Yeah. And tying that up somehow. And like, I'm a good person if I'm a good music producer. I'm a good person if I'm a good songwriter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Right. I'm a good person because I am successful, because money equals goodness. No, none of that is true. Right. Mm-hmm. These are all like stories we tell ourselves. And the more we hold on and grasp to that self-cherishing, the more miserable we become. Right.
Yes. I was thinking, I don't know what struck me. Oh, well, driving down Broadway on the way here, it occurred to me, in all of this chaos that's going on around the world, in our country, in our administration, everything. I'm looking at these folks laying on the side of the road in tents or not, or, piles of trash around them. Just, these are children. Some of these are young adults. I mean, you can tell a lot by a country, similarly to relationships. Like my husband, you can tell a lot about a man by the way that he treats his parents and his children. And the same thing is true about a country. You can tell a lot about a country by the way they treat their elders and they're disenfranchised, or their children, or the ones that in our community that we need to take care of. And so I'm just thinking, this is what's important. These are the values and the groundwork, the framework that we want to be remembered by. Not the TikTok dances and not the garbage and loudness and files and lists. Like, this is, how are we taking care of our people?
Mm-hmm. And as an artist, I think, I got into art because of those thoughts and those reasons. It's like, there's so much suffering in the world. And I think musicians are uniquely, and not just us, but we are super freaking sensitive, and grew up just being, I've always been told I was over emotional, too sensitive about everything. And I agree with what you're saying, to the point where it is important to me to not add more noise and garbage into the world, whether it's through music or social media or whatever, and to somehow bake in these messages, right, within the music, because what's the point of making it if it doesn't somehow change a heart and mind?
Yeah.
And it could, on the surface, it could be fun and you can dance to it, but really I'm trying to subliminally, I can never say that word. Subliminally implant these concepts, like these things that I'm learning, you know, through studying Dharma and meditation, like that you can actually change the world through changing your own mind, which is profound to me. Having, you know, I went to go to Catholic school my entire life. It was like,
Did you really?
I did. So it took a lot of undoing like the brainwashing, because it's so punitive. It's like, if you don't adhere to these rules, actually you're born with original sin. This is the thing as a kid that just freaked me out the most. It's like, you were born evil and you're a woman, so you're even worse, right?
Lord.
Right? Because Eve is she's the one who ruined everything in the Garden of Eden, right? This is the first lesson you learn. And if you don't follow these rules, you're going to go to hell and you're going to burn there forever. But if you do, you get to eat candy in heaven with God. So, you know, I had to like work through all of that. But the point being that I would like to spread the message that that's not true. And actually, it's all in your fucking head. No, but seriously, like on a serious note, like breathe in, that did essentially come from that. Because I was so like, I thought meditation was like, like, you know, new agey.
You imagine sitting with your legs crossed.
Exactly.
And,
nothingness. That's not what it is at all. Turns out we have ideas about things. Sometimes they're not correct.
Yeah.
And it is wonderful to learn that your ideas are not correct, right?
Right.
It's like, oh, if that was wrong, then maybe I'm wrong about everything else too. I mean, so as these songs are coming out, I'm like, okay, how do I take this lesson that I've learned and implant it into a song that's 4 on the floor and 120 beats per minute? So people are dancing and they're like, wait a minute.
Right.
This is life changing.
What did she just say?
I think that's cool that you do that, because when I was in a dark spot in my life, I stopped listening to music that was very sad and depressing and slow. And I purposely started listening to music that was upbeat and happy and had a good message behind it to lift my spirit back up. So it's good because, when you try to think about it, how can I change this world? Because there's a lot of negative going on in this world, right? There's people who don't have clean water, people who don't have food to eat. There's people on the streets, there's so many issues that's easy to get wrapped up in. Mm-hmm. And then I think about myself and I'm like, I'm just one person. I can't do much. But then you take your talent, like you being in music, and you're like, you know what? This is what I'm going to try to push and provide for the world. And it actually does really help. People don't see it as a direct way to.
No, it is. It's the most direct way. That is the most profound way. Like the decision that you made to, I'm going to try to change my mind because I can right now, that has a ripple effect through every other person that you talk and touch, right? Because it's very easy to become like jaded and dark. And I've seen some horrible things in the last couple of years and I could just go crawl in a hole and die and be sad. But I can also choose to see this butterfly that has just landed on this plant. I can choose to see the fact that you are, I see some of the photos that you post online where you're golden girl. Like, it's beautiful. Like, you're helping, and my dear friend Jill Cagney, she just became a death doula. And she's like essentially helping people pass into the, go into the next phase, right? And that is gosh, it's like such a compassionate thing to do. Mm-hmm. And I can choose to focus. I get chills on my arms just thinking about it. I can choose to focus on those things, or I can choose to focus on the other, right? But I'm not turning an eye to it that the bad things are happening. I know we continue to fight to make sure that they stop. And we are just one person, but if we just give up and it's like, it's all fucked, then it is. So I'm going to choose for as long as I can still breathe to focus on the positive and try to spread that positive energy in the world as opposed to the negative.
And the paradigm that you can only change yourself. My therapist used to say, she worded it better than I'm remembering it right now. It was just like, you can't change others. The only person you can change is yourself. And even that is hard enough. Mm-hmm. That's hard enough work. So don't worry about trying to change others. Just change yourself.
Absolutely cannot change other people.
And then the other thing that always struck me was you don't have to take back what you don't say. I thought that was profound, to sometimes just be silent, especially if you hear something that causes you turmoil, conflict, anger, what have you, rather than lashing out, rather than quipping back, snapping back, just be silent and take it in and just think about it for a minute.
When have you ever said anything that was good when you were angry?
Right.
We don't think correctly when we're in that state. And for me, it was like the therapy and Buddhism actually have like a lot in common, right? Or I should say Dharma is the teaching that accompanies Buddhism. Which also actually, if you look at the good shit Jesus said, is the same thing that Buddha said. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's all of these things that we're talking about, right? And understanding that you are responsible for your own happiness. And that really just boils down to state of mind. Yeah.
I think that's one of my favorite parts about that religion is Buddhism, and how mentally focused they are on your mental health is really, really cool. And just like meditating and all that other stuff. I find it so
fascinating,
cool.
right?
Yes.
It's like Buddhism is actually just psychology. That's all it is. And I wish I had stumbled on it earlier. I grew up in the generation.
How did you stumble on it?
Well, it was my best friend actually started going. She'd been going her whole life. She moved here from New York City, and she went through a pretty traumatic loss. And she had been a licensed clinical social worker her whole life. And after this loss, she lost her son, and she couldn't go back to therapy. So she started going, I think she dove more into Dharma and Buddhism, and then decided Knoxville needed this because we don't have it here. And she'd been driving to Asheville to get this, these teachings. And she's like, I think I'm going to start a center in Knoxville. And I was like, you should. And, it was a couple of years ago, we started at the Birdhouse, and it's been about, I think we're into the third year, and she's had to move now to the Unitarian Church on Kingston Pike just to have a little bit more space.
Okay.
And we meet every Tuesdays, and it's totally open to the public. 7:15 on Tuesday nights right now is the time. So we're doing it and it has been a life-changing experience for sure.
And what does it consist of?
Yeah, it's about an hour and 15 minutes, and we meet and we start with just a little very brief guided meditation, and it's short. When you think of meditation, it's not like we're sitting there for an hour in silence. It's literally like 5 minutes, right? And then she leads a discussion, and it's a focus. Like this past month was all about anger. So every week we talked about anger and like how to deal with those feelings. And she gives us a teaching. It's super, super interesting, and that lasts for about 45 minutes. And then we talk about it, and then we do another guided meditation, and we go home. Sometimes we eat snacks.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's fantastic. Yeah, you guys should come. Everybody's welcome.
Where do you meet?
So the Tennessee Unitarian Church.
Okay.
Yeah, the Universalist Unitarian Church. It's on Kingston Pike. It's just right outside of campus.
That's right.
Super easy to get to, super easy parking. It's great. 7:15 on Tuesday nights. I'm usually there.
I like that.
Yeah.
I actually might go.
Yeah, you can come and not come. You can come one week and not the next. There's no like obligation. There's nobody that's like trying to get you to sign up and, you have to tithe 10% of your income to the church now. No. It's super fun group of folks too. So I really enjoy. We get about 10 minutes afterwards to kind of talk, and I never want to stop. I'm like, can we just keep going? And Jill's like, well, we only have the room until 8:30. So let's go.
What were some of the discussion points, or what were some of the main themes of anger?
I think
dealing with anger.
I think the thing that I said earlier, just that, anger is a reaction typically when something isn't going the way that you want it to go, right? So again, everything goes back to the self-cherishing. And then when we're in that elevated state that nothing ever good comes out of it, no good discussions, no good decisions, you almost always feel bad about it the next day. It's like if you react in anger, you usually wake up and you're like, that wasn't me. And then you have to think about, do I apologize? Or what is the purpose of anger? Does it serve a purpose? And we've been talking about it for a month. So I think the main takeaway just being that it is usually comes from a point of self-cherishing, and that nothing ever good comes out of it, right?
Yes.
It's a thing that exists to tell you that you're having a reaction. It's like what your feelings are there to tell you you're having a reaction. It doesn't mean that they're facts, though, and you don't have to react to them in the moment.
I get this weekly newsletter in my email about stoicism.
Yeah. And
had a friend that kind of got me turned on to the idea and to this newsletter, that that talks about the same sort of tenets in so much as you need to get to a point where things that happen are not happening to you, or things that happen are not necessarily good or bad. They just are.
Yes.
If you can
Yes.
just accept things for, that's it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
stress,
Just like accept
stress
things as
and
they
distress
come.
is a reaction to things not going the way that you wanted
Yes.
them to. And I'm resisting reality right now, right?
So what's the best practice for when something happens and I'm getting frustrated or mad or a negative energy that I just have to something that's going on, right? What do you suggest?
You should come to class.
Yeah. Okay. I'll come to class.
I mean, Jill always tells the story of like, it's like if your car breaks down or something annoying happens with your car, right? It's like, oh, well, the thing is not happening to you.
Yeah.
It just happened to your car. Your car has a problem. You don't have a problem, right? So you have a choice to just schedule an appointment with a mechanic. It's not that big a deal. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think it's that, the if you have a problem that you can't fix, then why worry about it? And then if you can fix it, well, why worry about it? That's the concept, right? Because what does worry actually accomplish?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. It's telling you that there may be a thing that you need to, maybe schedule an appointment with a
Address or-
mechanic.
right.
But it's the more you're not going to gain anything. You're not going to gain time back in your life by worrying. You're not going to solve the problem by worrying. You solve the problem by calling the freaking mechanic.
Right.
If it's your car.
Which is where it meets progress over perfection.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking of all the different outcomes or just do something. Just take a step.
And realize that
Make a move.
it isn't you that has the problem, right?
Yes.
If you're frustrated, again, it's always a reaction to a situation that is not going the way that you wanted it to go. So you have to take a step back and recognize that.
I guess my next question to you then would be, we were talking earlier about how you're just out doing all these really cool things that Knoxville doesn't see often, but it's you, and you are able to burst out of that bubble that you had and the mindset of what are people going to think or do or say, and caring about what everyone else is going to do, think, or say. But you did it anyways. How do you break that where I care so much about what people think sometimes, and then I have to remind myself, you know what, it doesn't matter. They're not going to
Because they're
remember.
not thinking about you at all. I think that's what did it for me. Also, I'm super impulsive, and like if I get an idea, I have to do it, and I have 1,000 million ideas all the time, which is why I need meditation, because I sometimes you just switch this shit off. I'm like a squirrel on fucking meth. Sorry, what was the question?
Right.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, it's like I think what you realize that people are really most of the time not even listening to you. They're just thinking about what they're going to eat for lunch or what they're going to say next. So it's like, who cares? It's my show.
And I take that into my conversations and my relationship with my stepsons, because that sort of worrying about getting to the point where you don't care about what people think. I think it also comes with age or some level of experience or both. And certainly there are probably younger people that can have caught on to it. But I remember when I was younger, when I was my stepson's age, teenage angst and so on and so forth. And I was so hyper aware of, or trying to figure out what other people thought of me. And I think, you just get to a point where through life experience and things like that, you realize, you know what, nobody cares.
Well, and there's also like the element of delusion too, right? Because what my concept of who JJ is different than what Jocelyn's concept of who JJ is, which is different from, every other stranger that walks by here, right? And none of them are completely accurate.
And then there's that saying, it's not your business what other people think about you. Mm-mm. And that trips me up to think about, because I think, well, why isn't it my business?
You can't control it anyway, right? And I think even self-cherishing.
Right.
It's always going to come back to and that's like,
why isn't it my business? It's totally my business.
We are
right?
self-obsessed.
Because
So-
I'm trying to put out this brand and I want to make sure I'm on brand, or like what? It's
the good
madness.
news is that it's so freeing to not be so self-focused.
Yeah.
Right. But the problem is that it's like a constant checking, because it's like, oh, here I go. And I'm thinking about me. Like, and I have to constantly check that over and over again. That's what meditation is for me. Right. It's like learning how to turn a switch off and like not, oh, there's a thought. I'm thinking about myself. I'm going to flick it away. Like it's a little thought bubble. Right. And like, it's like, okay, I can just be a thing that breathes.
It definitely, yes. And it definitely, my life has shifted in the past few years to this, am I going to be single forever? It's just going to be me, you know?
Oh, honey, that's a whole other episode.
I'm spending all my, I'm buying myself Christmas presents, you know what I mean? And
the dating market in Knoxville is hot trash.
I'm so glad. I'm married now. I have 2 stepsons. We take care of my mom. My mom lives with us. She had a stroke a couple years ago. And so I'm her primary caregiver. In doing for others,
you don't have as much time.
I don't have as much time to think about myself or get down on myself or whatever. There are people that need me. There are people that are counting on me. Yeah. And that alone gives me, even the dog, every morning, you know, there'll be mornings where I'm laying there and I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. But Rocky's like, at the door, you know, and he's trying to like open the door.
Mom, come on,
speckle butt, right?
She pulls me out, man, when I get oversleep or I'm a little too hard last night. She's like, "It is 6 a.m. We have got to go get those cows."
Yes.
Like, there's no cows. I've been telling you there are no cows. We gotta get
Right.
Morning. Yeah.
Right.
But it does help to have something else to focus on. That's not yourself.
To pull yourself out of bed, to pull yourself out of the rut. It's like, well, I can't sit here and just melt away.
Well, we also all need to feel like we have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
I think, and you know, I'm a single woman. I don't have children, which is another road I chose to go down. That's, you know, she must be, what's wrong with her? And like, no, I didn't want to have kids and I didn't want to get married. So that was a choice. But where do I put my energy so that I don't become a crazy, you know, self-cherishing cat lady? I'm not a dog person, but whatever. But for me, you know, it comes back to the art again. It's like, I am going to put myself into this and I'm going to try to be a role model for young women. I'm going to try to like help young women figure this out, and men too, if they want my advice, but you know, patriarchy. That's where I find my fulfillment, and I stay pretty busy. So, you know, it's pretty good.
What does your life consist of? What does your week to week sort of consist of now?
I like live in this weird time zone of like, is it now? Is it happening now? Or is it not now? It's like honor. That's like just the way that my brain works. Like, which is, I guess, is a living in the moment kind of a thing. But, you know, I do work, I did take a full-time job on as, you know, working for Warner Brothers Discovery. So that's an interesting, that's been a really great place for me to learn and grow and learn about how corporate America works and how the media industry works and how those, you know, just how all of that operates. Then it's also given me the freedom to make the kind of art that I want to make. And so, you know, on the weekends, I'm doing a thing in Nashville in a couple of weeks. There's a Deep Tropics music. It's an EDM music festival. So I'm going to be like in the producer tent doing a music producer workshop, which is pretty fun. So, you know, I'm doing that kind of stuff. So it's like, I am constantly.
Where is that?
In Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm getting ready for this show for Knox Brew Stories. And I think, you know, Jason and I want to play as many shows as possible. That is the dream. I mean, honestly, that's always been the dream. That's my favorite place to be, is on stage. It's a safe space. I know that's weird to some people, but I hate being in an audience. I really like being on stage. So yeah, I mean, I stay very, very busy. So.
And performance is great. Live audiences are great because you connect with the audience. You can see people's reactions to the audience, and when they're reacting.
Oh, you can read you can feel the energy too.
Feel that energy, yes.
And that's my church.
The energy, the vibe is just.
Yeah, and you learn a lot. You learn about other people. You learn about yourself. It's like I've played so many shows at this point. It's like I always know if I play a song, I'm like, oh, that didn't. It's like if you're a comedian and the joke nobody laughs, and you're like, oh, I got to take that one off the set, you know, or like that one's gonna get recorded and pushed out because people are losing their freaking minds right now. It's like it's such an honest place to be because you can't fake enthusiasm. You know what I mean? You can, but. You're like, oh, that's fake. That's like the, oh, good job, you finished. Applause. Versus they're screaming so loud you can't start the next song. You know what I mean? It's like it's a very honest place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although there are also those shows where folks are talking over you or talking when you start singing, and then they're trying to talk louder in
that's
their
a
conversations.
Gig. That's not a show.
Right. That's a gig. Yeah, that's a gig.
There's very different, you know, music and depending on the place that it is in, right? Because, you know, you've been to shows where you could hear a pin drop, right? And like,
yes.
you have that connection is happening, and it's not just a social event, which both are fine. They each have their place, right? It's like, did we come here to party and have a good time and dance, or did we come here to have a fucking profound experience? Like, it's a spectrum.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of your fondest memories of shows or
Oh, I don't have any. I just black out every time I get on stage.
do you really?
No,
Maybe
I mean,
a little bit.
I mean, the one time I blacked out, I was totally sober. It was like we played Bonnaroo and somehow we were on at like midnight, and it was
Right.
yeah, it was.
What
I was
year
like,
was
how did
that?
it was like 2015. And I was like, how do we even get this spot? And I just remember like the whole experience. It was so insane and so rushed, and like I don't remember the set at all. I think at one point I tried to jump off the stage with my guitar and somebody grabbed me and they're like, no! I was like, that's why I'm saying I blacked out. But, I think some of my favorite memories, at least here in Knoxville, have been at the Pilot Light, to be honest. Like that place is like, it's legendary. I want to make sure whatever I can do, and I'm just one person, but like community wise, like to keep that place going despite all of what's happening in the old city right now.
Right.
It's really important because without a space like that, everything is a gig, and every musician in this town is playing behind a football game or a pizza or, a social scene like, Prez Pub or something like that, where it's like, you are playing over the audience talking and you were there to make sure they have fun. And it is not a place where you go for art. And the Pilot Light has always been a safe space for art.
Yes,
How
absolutely.
did you get the confidence to get on stage in front of people and play?
God, I had
that's a good question.
stage fright. So when I was younger, I used to the very first time I ran from like the first piano recital I ever had to do. I was like, I don't know, I found the back door and my mom was so mad at me. I ran and hid behind a dumpster.
Really?
Yeah. I think it just, somebody told me, it was one of my teachers. I think I was at UT, I studied piano, and I think he was like, Christina, he's like, you're not nervous, you're just excited. Like he said that to me. He's like, it's because you really care. And I was like, oh, you're right. And he's like, all it is, you just need to do it more. And then you won't be so, freaked out. And he was right. After like the 500th show, I was started to calm the fuck down. And I was like, I like this. It did. It took hundreds of times. I started going to open mics and I'd be like handshaking, like, I can't even sing, like bombing, completely bombing every single time. But I just, for whatever reason, just kept doing it.
Really?
Bomb a little bit less each time. Like I think like being okay with that failure or just having so much drive to like succeed at it or do it that you just don't care and you keep getting, I don't know. It might be like maybe I'm broken. Maybe there's a missing gene, like something in my brain that's like, do it again. It's like stick your finger in the outlet and you get shocked. And you're like, do it again. That felt kind of good. That's what it feels like.
That's crazy because one of the things I've been trying to focus on this year is I've been reading Atomic Habits and 101 Things That Will Change the Way That You Think, essays that will change the way you think. And one of the things is what scares you is something that you're really interested in, kind
Pay
of what you
attention
said.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing is I'm not very out there. I'm an introvert in some aspects. And so walking down the street and talking to a stranger, that scares me. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just be one of those people that walk up to you and just starts a conversation. So now introverts are scared of me, but it's okay. And so that's something that I try to push for. So when I think about trying to get on stage, even just to do funny karaoke, I do not sing all that well. I'll tell you that much. Don't ask me to sing. I'll probably put on Tequila, that song, and just do that for karaoke. But that thought scares me a lot. But it's something I know I have to do.
It means that you probably want to connect with people through public speaking in some form or fashion, And like when I first saw you, I just met you today. I was like, oh, she is so like elegant and put together. And I was like immediately intimidated by you. And like to have you tell me that you're an introvert, I'm like, oh, she's one of me. I can talk to her. But if I hadn't known that, like if I just seen you on the street, I would have been like, who's that girl?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you feel that way because I try to put myself out there as much as I can. And then as soon as I get home, I'm like curled up in a ball and I'm like, I talked to way too many people.
Just remind
today.
yourself that nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Exactly.
That's right.
Nobody will remember. They're also not thinking about you.
No, they're thinking about themselves.
Not even a little bit.
I think that's the best part about living is that nobody cares. It's something that I learned a few years ago is that nobody cares. And I just started doing anything and everything. And then I got into a toxic relationship, unfortunately, which then made me start to think like, what does he think or feel? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this or shouldn't be doing that. And now that I've been out of that relationship, trying to rebuild that confidence is something that I've been working on. And it's hard. It's very hard. So to see you just master that. I'm like, oh, that's the way I need to be.
Well, it's not, there's no mastery of it. I think it's just it's a day-to-day practice, just like meditation or just like working out. You know, it's like, I always tell people, like, what is the exercise that you hate doing the most? For me, it was always push-ups. And the reason being that I couldn't even do one. So I was like, oh, the reason I hate it so much is because I can't do it. And I really want some upper body strength, right? So now I can do like 10, but it took like years to get to
A quote that I read was, it's not difficult, it's new.
Yeah.
It's new. So like when I first came on to this podcast and what we've been doing, Janelle pointed out that because we used to do live video as well, so you could also see.
Right.
And I was swinging back and forth because I was nervous and anxious
energy,
and like thinking like, what if I say something weird or stutter? Because I do that a lot. And then she pointed it out, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. I am nervous, and I continue to come back, and I've gotten better at it.
Yeah. Imagine if you did this every single day for a whole year. By day 366, you would be like, I don't care. Let's go.
Yes.
And that's like what my teacher was trying to tell me. And what did finally work was just that repetition. And again, it's like meditation is repetition. You're going to sit down for your first meditation, and you're going to be like, I suck at this. Yeah. No, it's just that it's the first time that you've got quiet enough to go, my brain's crazy. It's always crazy. You just recognized it for the first time. So
what do you think when you hear previous music that you've released? Like this morning.
No, it covered my ears and I ran.
You ran out of the room. You said, I can't listen.
I'm not that person anymore. You know, as like, sometimes I think musicians can probably relate to this. It's like by the time you finish a song and put it out, that was 6 months ago. You know, even like Breathe In, like I finished that so long ago. I'm like, no, the one I'm doing now is much better. I don't want to hear the old stuff because I'm a different person now and I'm a better person and I'm a better version of myself, which again, I'm just fucking self-cherishing again. I'm just like me. So, you know, it goes back to that again. So I'm working on it. I think accepting that like, that is where I was at that point in my life, right? And if you want to think about it as like a rebirth or a reincarnation, we're all changing constantly. Even the cells in your, I don't know every 7 years, all of your cells are completely new. Is that the thing?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, metaphorically speaking,
different cells or different things age at different.
We're all different, constantly changing all of the time, and that's the only constant being changed. So I think accepting that is. I'm working on that. I'm accepting that is who I am, was who I was, and I'm different now. And I'm different now than I was before I walked in the door here. So nice seeing your face.
I know. High five.
I'll give you a high five.
Thank you for this giant coffee. Oh my God. I'm going to be like all day.
Bouncing off the walls.
You're like, this podcast is called Tea Time, but there's not enough caffeine in tea. So
I know.
So we're actually... It's a coffee. It's a coffee shop.
Whatever your tea is, your tea of choice. Tea du jour.
I'm jacked.
So what is next? When are you releasing the next one? What does this look like?
Yeah. I've got a whole slate of songs coming out. Hopefully every 4 weeks there'll be a new single. So I'm doing some remixes of music that I like too. I think it's I'm just going to wave that freak flag and just keep putting it out. I think there's a freedom too in knowing that like I don't even have to promote it if I don't want to. It doesn't have to do well. It's not paying my mortgage. I'm making art because I want to make art, and that feels great.
Yes.
So I'm going to keep doing it until I don't want to do it anymore, which I'm 47. So I've been doing this music has been my focus since like the 4th grade. I don't think that's going to change.
Christina was one of the first artists that I interviewed when I started at WTK as a student DJ.
That's awesome.
And that was in
1987.
Serious. I mean, it was like 2009 or 10.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just starting out. I got a real late start to like the making. I was a music student, you know, a classical musician for so long that it took me a really long time to get into this side of things.
What do you see? Where do you see AI going?
Oh God.
With regard to music and your craft?
I cannot answer this question in the time that we have today. This is like a multi-episode answer.
Do you abhor AI?
No,
do you inherently
do I abhor all of the fact that I can make music on my laptop and I can make an album, I can make singles like this without building an analog recording studio? Do I abhor that? No, I don't. Do I abhor an EQ plugin that will scan for horrible resonant frequencies that I don't want to scan for. No, I don't import any of that. I don't. It's technology. It will continue to evolve. How we handle it as a society and how we choose to look at it, that the only thing that gives me pause, because right now it's completely unregulated, which means that all of the work that me and all the other artists in the world, and that's not just music, that's journalists, authors, poets, whatever, we're the ones being poached, right? Our ideas are being poached, and we're not going to ever get any credit for that. And the people that are creating the software that is making the new music and, writing the articles, they're going to benefit from all of the years of our hard labor, right? So that's the only side of it that I don't love, is that it's unregulated. I do see that will change in the future, but I do it as an artist and I'm a technician. Like I'm an engineer. Like I look forward to seeing what other advances we have, right? We just have to be, like with everything else in the world, sensitive to how it affects human beings. That's it. So I'm optimistic. I am. I know that a lot of, people in my industry, especially like music composers that have done primarily what we call production music, which is where you're making, and I did this, you make music for television, that's background music, right? That if their income was 100% dependent on that, they are in a bit of dire straits right now, because nobody's going to pay them anymore for something that a, computer can just generate instantly.
And it's mind-boggling. I go to ChatGPT to I'll say, hey, I want to do a news update for the radio show tomorrow, and I want to talk about maybe these stories. Give me some background.
Yeah, but you know what else is mind-boggling? Like, let's rewind the tape back to like 1996. You and I are in high school, right? We're about to graduate and go to college. And they're like, hey guys, there's this new thing coming called the internet. Okay. I'm not going to say anything else. Like we were like, haha, what do you mean? We can listen to baseball games. Wait, isn't that just the radio? I don't understand. Like people were so like, oh, that's not real. That can't be possible. But then they were also like, this is horrible. And then this is great. Everybody had an idea of it, whether it was going to be horrible or great. Look, it's really hard for young people to even I didn't have a freaking iPhone until I was out of college.
We were full on adults.
I didn't even have a cell phone in college. What? Yeah, no. Do you remember T9? Yeah. Let's just rewind the tape. This is not new. This is, I do think that the one thing that in the way that the internet changed the world, AI is the problem that it's going to create across all of industries is just employment. Like, what are we going to do?
Right.
About that part of it. So that's going to be the interesting.
We don't need writers. We don't need folks writing up press releases or what have you. We have AI to do that.
Yeah. And there's so much grunt work that's been done.
And how well it can do it. That's what always surprises me is, or in the the AI, it knows me. So it's like picked up on, because it knows all my information, anything I put in the phone or whatever.
Yeah, it's really the tip of the iceberg too, because that's just ChatGPT. There are platforms that are better, and it's exponential.
Yes. Well, and yeah. News story. You see news stories. You're scrolling. You see things, and you think that can't be true. Well, it's not.
I think zoom out and think about it from like the technological advancement in the course of human history has always been like aimed at how do we free people from doing labor,
right?
Essentially, right? Like how do we? Because we have to like grow food and make things for people to live, right? We have to build. So how do we take the impetus off of people so they don't have to do labor, so that they can free up their mind to do other things, right? So if we evolve as a species and we use our brains, we come up with creative solutions. I don't have one, but we have creative solutions of employment, and that might be rearranging how we do our whole fucking economy, right? So it's going to bring up a lot of really, really big questions. And I think we're about to enter in the next 10 years. It's going to be not even 10. People are saying 2. It's going to be revolutionary in a lot of ways. So
it's kind
hold on to your hats.
Right. It's scary. It's anxiety inducing.
Everything's scary.
That's right.
I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me was
microplastics. Sorry.
Microplastics.
Yeah, that's actually so true. That's so true.
I'm sorry. The biggest thing that stuck out to you?
I don't even remember. Now I'm stuck on microplastics.
Oh, we were talking about AI. Sorry. Yeah.
How easy it is to generate. I used to want to become, what's it called? An animator for Disney.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool. now you can just go on ChatGPT and say, make me a Mickey Mouse that walks onto a boat and whistles and, does all that. And you don't really need those animators or artists and that whole realm, which is, it's sad.
Well, still, generative AI versus, like, there's different types of AI, right? Where it's just like you're asking the algorithm to create something out of nothing, right? Like generatively fill, like, and you can do this with video editing now too. It's like, okay, I would like for this to look like it is shot in front of the Eiffel Tower, or it was shot here instead of there, or I didn't shoot this in an actual field. Can you make it look like a field? Whatever. I think you still have, as an artist, we still have to generate new ideas, right?
That's
to
true.
feed to the algorithm. So I think that's important to remember too, is that up till today, we have built the machines. I don't know. The machines might take over at some point, but up to today, they came out of our creativity, not the other way around. So let's just keep reminding ourselves that.
I just think of iRobot. Have you guys seen that movie?
Oh God,
Yes.
yeah.
There are so many movies that if you go back and watch them now, you think,
Holy
wow.
cow.
I mean, science
somebody knew
fiction has always
something.
been great about predicting the future. Yeah.
Yeah. People knew what was going on
Look,
before the rest
we're
of
not
us
going to
did.
be around for that long, so let your kids figure it out.
I know. That's the real positive thought.
Yeah.
Positive way to
I think just train them to think critically and creatively. That's all that, like, that's my only fear is making sure that we still teach the next generation how to be critical thinkers and how to be creative.
Do you garden? Do you grow?
I do. And this year, like, I typically do, because that is like a place where, touching grass, because I haven't been touching ass either. Like I mentioned, the dating scene is horrendous, right? So my alternative is grass, but I typically do a vegetable garden. But this year, all of my raised beds, I have so many of them. I just did all wildflowers, and it's been so fun because I brought all the bees to the yard.
Yes.
I heard the rumor that the bees were
Pollinator
suffering.
friendly. Yes.
And that if the bees went away, we were all fucked. So I was like, what can one person do? I'll plant flowers.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So,
Do you have a big backyard?
I do. It's too much for one person. I feel really guilty about it.
Do you mow? Or does somebody mow?
Andy Perkle's my mower. He's
Okay.
a local musician. He's a great mower. 10 out of 10. I can't do it. It's just so much.
How much land are you on?
No, it's not even. It's like less than half an acre.
But still.
But I have so many other things I'm doing.
Yes.
Like, oh.
Yes. And Specklebutt?
Yeah, and I bought a house that was 100 years old, and when I bought it, it was like, kind of dilapidated and hadn't been updated at all since the 60s. So that's been like my labor of love. It's like trying to keep that thing from like descending back into nature. And there's a part of my yard that I'm just avoiding. Like it is. My friend came over and she was like, Christina, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the vines and the trees, they've broken through the door. She was like, the tendrils are coming through. Because like I thought I had control over it, but I can't keep up with it. So.
Those vines are scary.
They are. I'm like, they're decorative until they start to like pry
Break
open the
in.
foundation, and you're like, oh my God, I can't close my door anymore.
We were talking about those vines last week. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's overtaking entire houses.
Well, my house
Entire
came with
walls.
it's ivy, and like the vines themselves, like I have nightmares about. It's like Stranger Things, like the upside down. Like
Yes.
you think you've pulled it up, and then you're still digging, and you're like, oh my God, it's still going. Yeah.
It's a horror movie. You blink and it gets closer. You blink again and it just keeps getting closer.
And thicker. They're so thick you can't even cut it with
Yes.
I don't like them at all. I don't like them. That and bamboo. Bamboo's
That's
hard to
shouldn't
get rid
even
of.
be here. It shouldn't even be here.
No, I have we did a walkthrough for a client and there's bamboo and it was cool. Like, okay, cool. And we do the whole like inspection and appraisal, and now it's closing day, which is about 30 days later, a month. And we go back and the bamboo is starting to come out of the yard, but it's all sharp. So it just looks like an Indiana Jones like trap.
Oh my gosh.
And we're like, that was not there a month ago. And they're keeping up with it. I don't know how. You
That
just
stuff's
take
hard to get rid of too. It just keeps coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we want to, it's, I don't know, about 10 more minutes, and then we'll go out with music as well. I can feature on the podcast. Usually I have to cut out the music that I play and I just put some instrumental intro, outro music. But if I have the artist's permission, I can include your
absolutely.
music,
Absolutely, yeah.
right? Okay.
It's $500 a track.
Right. Let me just go ahead and cash app.
That's my discount.
now.
That's my discount rate. It's usually $2,000. I like you.
That's radical. So we wanna check out
Feral Kitty.
Feral Kitty. How did that? So the name.
Oh God.
Oh.
I'm glad you asked. My first week on the corporate gig, y'all. I had never had a job before. I was 40 something years old. My first fucking job with a W-2, because I was freelance my whole life. I was freelance. Nobody ever told me what to do. Right? I'm like, I have a boss now, and then she has a boss, and he has a boss, and he has a director, and he has a boss, and then there's the CEO. I didn't understand that. So, and also we're in cubicle land. So this is like literally like a month before the pandemic shut everything down. And I remember that first week being like, I'm not going to make it. Because I would like by noon, I was like, and I don't know what, I was probably bored my first week because you're training, and I had a thought, and it occurred to me that this is a great idea. And I don't even remember what the idea was, but I was like, I'll pull up Outlook, and I'm like, I'm going to email who's the leader of this company. Oh, it's David Zaslav, CEO of Warner Brothers. Okay, cool. Oh my God. So I sent him a freaking email, and like next thing I hear is, hey, Christina.
Oh no.
I'm elaborating on the story a little bit.
Yeah.
She's like, maybe don't email the CEO. There's a hierarchy, like
chain of command.
There's a chain of. I didn't understand that at all either. It's like if you have an idea or an issue or anything, you have to like run it by
your direct
boss,
superior,
and then
it goes up the chain.
If it gets approved, it goes up the chain. There's an approval chain too, right? I had no idea any of this. I was just like, I have a really creative idea. I'm going to send it to DZ. Of course, it was his secretary that emailed me back and was like, who are you? And thanks for writing, but don't ever again. So my boss, I love her. She was like, Christina, she's like, and she's joking. I mean, she's very sweet. She was like, you're like a feral kitty. She's like, you need to learn how to pee in a litter box. Or go in the litter box, I don't know, whatever it was. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. I will never go in the litter box. That is a terrible idea. Why do we need a box when you have all this grass? Like, what?
I'm dying. Oh my gosh.
It's a true story.
And that's how you got the name.
That's how I got the name. I was like, feral kitty.
The name stuck.
It's like,
The name stuck.
Oh, that's actually accurate.
It is. Navigating the corporate world is something.
It is, but I think it applied, like at the moment I was like, you know what? This is my whole life. I've felt like a feral. I've always felt like there are all these rules and I've never been able to figure out how to like do the rules, and they all seem stupid. And like, if I was a cat, I would definitely be feral, because if you tried to lock me in this house, I'd claw your fucking eyes out. You know, like, don't.
I think that goes a little bit back to the imposter syndrome, being in a corporate world.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, good call. Totally. I felt so out of sorts there. I mean, I feel better now. Like, I've been there for a while, and I realized that a lot of the folks that work there are creatives because they got into it because they wanted to be television producers or podcast producers or whatever. Like, they're creatives, and my job is going, oh, here's your creative idea, and this is how much it's going to cost. And I also have I'm actually really good with numbers, and I'm good with budgets, and like, so I'm the in between, like a production manager essentially. And when I realized that I was like, oh yeah, maybe I do fit in here. It's just everybody else had been doing it for so long that they knew what the costume was that you're supposed to wear.
Right.
And I didn't. I was like, because I was like, I hope it's okay I have hot pink hair, because I did, and I was like, I hope it's okay that I come in wearing these weird clothes, and it was fine. And they were like, we actually like that you're weird.
Like, well, thank God.
But the funny thing is, like, I got like a Stitch Fix subscription, because I was like, I have to tone it down. I got to tone it down a little bit. And I did that for a couple months, and I was like, these clothes are boring.
Yeah.
I love my Stitch Fix. I get Stitch Fix.
It is nice though.
Every other quarter.
Yeah. It
The
just
box
comes
comes
to you. I like the idea that it just comes to you, because like, also, if you're a feral cat, shopping is not a fun thing. Because I swear to God, you walk in the store and they look at you and they're like, oh, do they think I'm going to steal these things? Like, what? I was like, did I forget to brush my hair again?
Corporate Christina. I can't see it.
That's how I felt for the longest time, was getting into real estate. I thought I had to be pretty much dressed in a suit and very professional. As much as I look good right now, it's because I have a decent showing after this, but this is typically
have a
not.
showing,
I
yeah.
have a nice showing.
I
Yes,
have
I'm not like this
I know
typically.
this is radio, but I'll show you all later. But I have my corporate Christina photo, and I bought a blazer, and I got my hair cut, and I got a photo
Lord.
taken, and it's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, wow.
It's corporate Christina.
Oh my gosh! I can't recognize.
I don't
you.
even show up to meetings like that. I
No,
can't. It didn't.
no.
Mm-mm.
No, it took me a while to have the confidence to start dressing like me. I'm originally before real estate, I was a skateboarder and I was
hell yeah.
sponsored. And I skated all day.
You were
every
sponsored
day.
skateboarders? What?
Yes. So I mean I wore baggy pants and a baggy t-shirt, you know, and I was
Cool
sweaty all the
shoes.
time. Oh, well, the shoes were always shredded. I mean, I probably looked homeless half the time.
Yeah.
They're like, where is this kid's parents and why is she
I mean, it
skating?
is hard to have like a corporate, like a real estate gig where you're trying to sell people very expensive property and you're like, oh, sorry about my clothes. Like, I get that. And you can show up, you know, and play the game if you have to.
Yes.
I pack clothes at this point. I have this, and then afterwards, I have like my skater clothes that I'll change into.
I think there is a point at which, like, once you develop trust and, you know, in your reputation,
Yes.
then you might actually become known because you're the skater chick that sells houses.
And that's where Jocelyn is in her growth process with it. It's intimidating seeing all these other realtors that have been doing it for years and and the uniform they wear type thing. And
see right through that shit.
Yeah. No, I
I
mean,
had to sell my parents' house recently, and because my father passed, and that's a whole other thing. But my mom wanted to hire this boutique real estate firm, and this woman shows up in her Land Rover. She comes in this all white blazer with ruffles and long fake nails and perfect hair and frozen face, and she's like, "Hey, I'm Paula Dean," or whatever the fuck her name was. She's like, "Here's a gift for you," and it's this like frou-frou bag with all these frou-frou chocolates and perfumes, and I was like, "Oh, you are not getting hired." This is like, first of all, I know where all of your money went to, and like it's all going to this image and to this advertising. I was like, this house will sell itself, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it turned me off. So I think it's like
authentic. Authenticity is the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's really hard. This is where I get into like more of the imposter syndrome, is because I'm a skateboarder and I'm trying to be into a professional business that mainly everyone's on the older side. I'm the youngest person in this business. So now I feel like I have to prove myself and work even harder in that form. And
you're
so
not wrong.
Weird.
You're not wrong.
It's very weird. I mean, you don't see skaters often in Knoxville, let alone a skater chick, right? So I'm like, I am so different in that form, which I am embracing, and it's taken a long time. Janelle, I mean, I remember we were driving to Gatlinburg and telling her everything. You know, I was telling Janelle, I was like, I am the youngest person in this business. I have to put in like this uniform, but I also really enjoy skateboarding. Do I have to give up skateboarding?
No.
And I said, no, absolutely. Use that. I mean, that is part of your brand. That is part of who you are.
Yeah.
And let that, and just like you said, let that freak flag fly.
But you know what the secret is? That confidence doesn't wear a costume, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you show up confident, you know what you're talking about, and your pitch is solid, and you feel good about what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, right?
Yeah.
Because if you can't hide that, right?
Yeah.
No.
That's what's authentic, is that confidence. It's just taken me a long time to figure that out, because I walked into the corporate environment. On the flip side of that, I was the oldest person on my team. They'd all been doing it since they went to college. I did not go to college for communications. They took a risk on me, and I had to show up and be confident. It's like, oh, she's a freak. She's older. She has tattoos, and she doesn't look like us, right? So you show up with the confidence, and that's what will sell people on you.
I really like that.
Yes.
High five.
Hell yeah.
You look like a corporate badass, and
thank you.
You look like that regional manager that I'd be.
I would
scared
have,
of.
yeah.
Regional's coming today.
Well, the arm cross in the photo. It's like,
Yes. Like, oh god.
I even have my
your
corporate
desk.
glasses that I put on.
I see your write-up coming. Oh god.
Yeah.
Pretend that you're working.
It won't. That won't work though, because that's not authentic for me. And I stopped. I never even showed up to a meeting with that blazer on. I show up like this every day, and you know, like it's fine because I feel finally now confident. I'm like, yeah, I know what the fuck I'm doing, and I'm good at it.
Were you during the pandemic, were you remote or were you still going to the office?
Oh
or what
no,
did that
we
look
went
like?
we went remote. immediately, and then never went back, and they sold the building. And they did move us into like where Team Health is now. And I think people were so against going back because they realized, again, these are people, a lot of those folks had worked in a corporate office building for 20 years. And they realized how much of their life they were giving up just commuting, right? And just the back and forth, and like they had childcare and everything there. But it's like, oh, my life is so much better if I don't have to spend all that time. And this is people in California, because the company was mostly in California and New York. So it's like, oh, suddenly I'm getting 3 hours of my life back every day. Oh my God.
That's huge.
So people fought back really, really, really hard. So we only go in 2 days a week. It's pretty like, for the people that need to be together, it makes sense. And a lot of what I do is like, I'm on Zooms with people in LA anyway. They're not here. So I'm going to the office to get on a Zoom. Whatever. But it's great because of that flexibility. I think that, the future is hopefully leaning towards that for folks.
Yes.
As far as like white collar work goes, but
having been in corporate settings and working for the university for so long, and talk about bureaucracy and a hierarchy, chain of command type thing.
Oh my God.
It was intense. And not being in that setting now, being able to sort of make my own schedule, be my own boss, it is liberating. It is, whatever. I could be picking up trash and I'm still thinking I'm my own boss. I'm not, I'm not having to.
As long as you have that piece that is self-accounting, and a lot of folks don't, and they need somebody to tell them what to. But if you have it, it is quite liberating. Yeah. And the trade-off, it's like, okay, well, I'm not getting the benefits. I'm not getting this. But I have this peace of mind.
Right.
And you can go out and do whatever you'd like you said, and make your own schedule. Like in the morning, I'll go maybe for a run.
Yep.
Instead of.
That's what I was going to say. You run.
Oh.
You run a lot. Jocelyn's a runner too.
I went this morning. It's probably why I was late.
Where and how far?
Well, back in the day when I didn't have a corporate job, I was a fitness instructor. I was a side gig. So
nice.
I would teach like a running class on a treadmill, but I run in my neighborhood, and like I'll go to Seven Islands a lot. That's one of my favorite places to go running, but I take Specklebutt because she's got a lot of energy.
Specklebutt's her dog. What kind of dog?
She's a cattle dog.
Cattle dog.
Yeah.
So how far do you typically run, and how often do you run?
I used to run a lot more than I do now. I think, age, I'm doing more, I want to talk about menopause. I'm doing more strength training now. Because everything hurts and I'm dying. But yeah, I typically run 3 miles. It's not a lot. I used to run more. I used to run a lot more, but I don't anymore. My sister is training for the Boston Marathon. She qualified.
Very cool.
She's like, I used to run with her, and it would just end up with me crying because she would just dust me I'll be the first mile, and she'd be like, I'm just warming up, and I was like, I can't.
So I'm training for a half marathon. What advice would you give me?
Oh, don't ask me for advice.
I'm trying to practice my form, and I don't know if there's a correct way to make sure that I don't get hurt or anything.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on form. I don't know that I would be qualified to give you advice on that. I do. I am a big because like age wise, it's like I am an advocate for strength training at this point. I've seen my sister like break so many bones, and she's had like 3 hip surgeries. It's like so much of that repetitive, just going distance all the time is not great for your body, it turns out. But, are you doing interval training?
Everyone keeps talking to me about that, and I don't know.
Oh, you
need to find that out.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's why I was like, I'm not going to give you advice because you look like you know what you're doing. But interval training, that's like what's going to help you out the most. And you can find all kinds of information on that. But like, it's basically like HIIT training, like where you go really, really hard for 30 seconds and then you back off, and then 45 seconds, and then a minute. You try to increase the length of time that you're going as hard as you can. Okay. If you want to increase your speed over distance, that's a great way to do it.
I was talking to someone last night about that, and I guess there's different ways you can do. You can do something that's like full body, or something that's more.
I even mean just running. Yeah, if you're running, like when I taught the treadmill class, we would do our warm up, and then we would do like 30-second intervals. We'd be like, we're going to go as fast as we can,
running as fast
for 30 seconds, and then jog. All right, and then we're going to go for 45 seconds as fast as you can. And you
push it.
It's like a pyramid. You get longer, and then you go back down on the bottom, and you're like a minute and a half, 1 minute, 45 seconds, 30 seconds, right? And it makes the run go by faster because if you have like a stopwatch or something, it's like, okay, I'm going to go for 30 seconds as hard as I can. Now I'm going to break, right? And then you're thinking about something, right?
Right.
So it's like a focused training. So,
and I would also say your shoes are important. And I think going to a shoe store that I know there are a couple local spots. Going to a shoe store where the owner or the operators are runners or can actually tell you what would be best for your foot. Look at your foot, and do you have high arches? Do you run on the balls of your feet? How do you what is your form like? So you get shoes that work for you.
Are you familiar with Utter Butter?
No.
Have you run long distances before? Is this your first long distance?
This is my first. I started maybe earlier this year.
Okay. What's the longest you've ever run?
6.
Okay. Once you get above 6, you start to get a lot of chafing. Yeah. So like if you have a sports bra, it's rubbing on your armpit. It'll get you here, your thighs.
Yeah.
So especially
I've been
if you're
seeing it on my thighs.
Yeah. So you get a little bit of that shit. You'll want it.
Utter butter.
There's lots of different names. It's basically just like a cream you put on so you don't chafe as much. And trust me, it's like that stuff. Like because I have run like the full marathons, and it's like it starts to burn by the end. Yeah. Because as you think of friction on any place on your body, for like 5 miles, 6 miles, it's usually okay. But when you add the sweat to it, sometimes you get a little bit of that abrasive salt, like rubbing into your skin. Like for me, it was always under my armpits for some reason. Just however your body is shaped. Yeah, it's so funny that we landed here.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Socks. Socks are getting. Go to Runner's World or Runner's Market over by Gourmet Market. They're great over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's. I know.
I have like 5 different shoes that I cycle through, so I don't think about it anymore. But yeah, the gear is important too, just because of that. Like the chafing is real. So like if you buy the good quality shorts and the things like that, especially if you're running outside, y'all. Oh my God. So
especially
uncomfortable. It's because it's so uncomfortable to run long distance, anything beyond 6 miles anyway, that the tiniest little discomfort beyond the discomfort of running is like, I can't do it anymore. Oh my God.
I think the thing that's only been keeping me going for like longer, I do it around downtown Knoxville, and I just go down every road that I haven't been down before, and it makes me feel a little bit excited, like, oh, I've never been down. Let's see what's over here. No, I'm not.
I know this town too well at this point. Yeah. I'm not either, but I used to run downtown too, so I know all the alleyways.
Do you? I stay away from the alleyways, but I'll go down like the main roads. I don't think.
Except the one with the murals, right? They've closed that off to vehicles now, which incidentally
they used to be able to load in.
The ass for musicians trying to load in for their shows. Yeah,
this is fun.
Conversation for another day. Christina Horn, Feral Kitty,
Triple J, JJJ.
Thank you for coming on.
Just call me Kitty from now on.
I will.
What's up, Kitty?
I like it.
Yeah.
I thought for the longest time it was spelled with a Y.
It was problematic though, because like I was going around doing a lot of talks and presentations.
Okay.
Like, I'm an Ableton Live certified trainer, so I was doing like Ableton shit, and I would be like, "Where's your music?" And I'd be like, "Feral Kitty, F-E." How do you spell feral? Okay, apparently that's hard for people. And then they're like, "Kitty," but it's K-Y-T-T. What? K-Y. What? Okay, I'm just gonna change it. And it was a pain in the ass to change it on Spotify. I bet it did.
I thought it was one of those. What do you call it? I thought it was
double entendre.
Somebody went back in time and changed something, and so now it's the Mandela effect. Yeah, was that what it was? I thought maybe that. Was I just thinking? Was I just making that up?
No, it was real. It really was.
Like that actually happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to make it easy for people.
So your new single, "Breathe In," check it out, play it. Add it to your playlist. Add it to every playlist.
Yeah.
And share it.
Yeah.
A lot.
It really helps with the independent artists. It really, really does.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'll make sure to do. I have a locals only playlist right now that has 36 hours worth of music.
Oh, hell yeah.
And just stuff that I play from week to week.
You keep rotating songs and like adding new ones to it?
Just adding more every week. So.
That's awesome. Well, let me know what I can do for Knox Community Radio too. That's going to keep you guys going.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
We would appreciate that.
We need you.
Okay. I want to play your single again.
Okay.
To go out with. And are you going to have to run out?
No, I'm just going to run to the bathroom because you made me drink all that coffee. I didn't drink like the whole thing. I'm literally dying. Anybody else? You all are dying?
Not quite yet. Okay. I love it. Christina Horn, everybody. Feral Kitty, so great. Breathe In. Jocelyn, it's been a great day.
It has been.
I like it.
Time flew by.
It did. Yes. Okay.
It's crazy.
Here's a song. Y'all, thank you so much for listening to Tea Time with J and J. You can find our podcast. This will be episode 5.
Look at us.
Yes. And we'll get it uploaded all over
I'm so
social media
excited.
platforms. We've got guests rolling in now, so it sounds even better. But anyhow, we appreciate you tuning in.
Okay, I'm ready.
You ready? 1, 2. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Knoxville. Thanks so much.